Welcome to the presentation of projectmate. We are going to show you a simple flow in project. You see here a project master data of Project Mallorca. It's a quotation, so we're going to make a quotation, and after that we're going to promote it to order and we're going to run the project. We're now at the tab details, where you see all kinds of details with memos, remarks, dates, etc. from the project. Now, to start the project, we're working from a model project. So first, we're going to the tab Hours. If we're in the tab Hours, you see only the Project Mallorca. What we're going to do is we're going to import from a model project. That can be a model, a part of a model, and can be also a former project with all kinds of settings what you want to import. We're going to select here our template project, and we're going to choose. We can select all activities, or we can deselect some activities. Let's select them all, and we're copying hours, materials, billing schemas, etc. So we're going to say import, and we now see that this is imported. We're going to say update, and we have now updated it. There are no actual hours because it's quote, and there are no hours booked. We have imported, so have a look at the tab material. If we look at tab material, we have two options. We go to the bill of material view, and we see all the materials that are already in this copied model. We can add materials. We can go for that to the project view. We go to production. We see here the items that are already in. We can simply add here an item from the SIP item list. Let's say we do a turbine, we choose it, and we can add a price here. Let's say 500. We could add a supplier. It's not in this phase yet necessary, could be in a later stage. So let's go here to update. Now, we have seen hours, we have seen materials, so this is everything that's in there. So let's make this a sales order. So we're going to the tab Sales, and we have two possibilities. We can use sales items, or we can base the calculation on the hours and the material that are already in this project. So let's do the last step, then we can say enable, we say select, and now everything has been updated, everything has been calculated. If we go into the details here, we see here that there is a sales price based on the items and the hours in the project using sales price lists. These sales price lists can be used, but you can also use base price list and work with markups, percentages, etc. It can be done per line or per activity. Let's now make a sales document. So we now go here to create document. We select here a sales order. We go to next, we say show document, and we are going to generate a document. If we go to Windows, we go to sales order, we now see there's here a sales order. The sales order is a sales order based on the total value of the project. We can also make a sales order with all the details of the project. We have done now a calculation, and we had the sales order. Let's have a look at our budget screen. Update. Yes. We go to our budget screen, and in our budget screen we see a current budget. We see no actuals because there's nothing booked yet. We see a sales price and a sales result, and that's going to change the moment we are going to put in actuals. Now, we have now put together very fast a project, a simple example. Let's have a look what happened in the plan board that's already connected with this project. So we go here to plan board. And we see here the single master planning, the single project master planning. We see our project here. We see here the color green. Its status project and status order. You see here the delivery date. It's the month of the year. You can change that in quarters or in weeks. Below you see all the departments and here the workload on the departments. There's a direct relationship between the work on top and here the allocations. So if I change here a duration, we make the duration, let's say like that, then automatically below that always will change. The brown color on the bottom represents in this case the work for production done by assembly and production. And the red triangle tells us that there are materials that should be ordered. Actually, they're too late and they should be ordered. We're going to save it. Now, we saved the master planning. So let's go back to our project master data and we are going to run the project. So we are going to order material. We're going to the material tab. The materials are already linked to the activity production, and the production has a start date. So the materials will be purchased and be delivered before, let's say, the 6th of March in this case. Now, we can select the materials that we want to purchase. We do request for ordering. We say update, and we only pick 2 materials. We say ordering. This is ordering from the project. We could also have a purchase department with their own screen and doing the ordering. We come in the material recommendation screen. We see from our project, we see the 2 lines being the 2 items that we want to purchase. So we go to the bottom. We could do get from stock. We could order. There's also a possibility for bills of material to produce, and we could let the system do it automatically. Let's say here, order. The items will be moved into the tab order quotation, because you could also make a purchase quotation. We're going to order it here. We're saying all. We're going to the right side and we say here, make purchase order. This is the screen, which is the material planning, create orders. If we now say create orders, the orders will be created. So now the purchase orders in SAP will be created. Let's have a quick look at the purchase order. We see here the purchase order of the motor. We see in the remarks the project number. We see, if we go to the right here, also in the line the project number, and if we go to the tab project, we also see here the project number and the activity where it's linked to. So there will be always a one-to-one relationship with the project and the documents in SAP. We're back in our material tab. We can also show the orders over here. You see we've got 2 purchase orders. Now let's do for 1 purchase order a goods received. In this case the saw motor, 2 saw motors for 120 euros. So we copy this one to goods received. There can be all different flows, but the effect will be at the end there will be a goods received. Same information like on the purchase order, in the line, in the remarks, and in the tab project. We say add, and we say do a goods received. We close the screen, we close the purchase order, and we're back in our project master data. The next step we're going to do is we are going to the tab hours. You see here is the tab hours. I imported this information into the project. You see also here the activities linked with departments like production. You see that on the right side. Now we're going to book hours in this hour tab. For that we have two possibilities. We have a web-based, a browser-based TMC, timesheet app. For now we're going to use the timesheet that's in the application. For that we go to timesheet, and we are going to book. So we already see that there is already booked in this week for another project. So we are going to add here our project Mallorca. We can search on different ways, but let's do it this way. We'll type the name project Mallorca. We'll select here engineering. We choose engineering department. We go here to the work type. That's the hour rate. We'll choose here engineering, and we're going to book on Wednesday. We're going to book 8 hours. On Thursday we're going to book 8 hours, and we're going to update this. We could also add notes to a certain booking, and we're going to do post week. The approval is set automatically, so it's automatically approved when I do post week, and we're done with the time booking. So we're going to close this screen. We are back in the project master data. I go to reload, and you now see 16 hours that's booked on engineering. So what we actually did, we did run a project as an example. We ordered materials, we're booked hours, we're also able to book costs. So that's how a project runs. Now, when a project is finalized, then you can also, or during the project, you can also do billing. In this case, in the model, we have a down payment billing for this project, but you also could do time and material, supplementary invoice, normal invoice, and even a retention invoice. The invoicing is set up here. It can be triggered by an activity. If the activity is finished, the invoice will be prepared, and you can do it on the send date. Let's do this one on the send date. We'll select the send date. We say update. Now the invoice is triggered. It can be invoiced here by the project leader, for example, but it's also possible via menu option that the invoicing is done by the finance department. We'll select here now invoicing, and we now see that the down payment invoice is ready, so we can finalize the down payment invoice. We can select it, and we can say here create invoice. We have different kinds of settings on the invoice. We go open the document, and we can create the invoice. Now the invoice is created, the down payment invoice, and again you see the information about the project in the remarks, in the line, and in the tab project. Select here, choose this one, I'll go here, and if we now do a reload here, you will see that the invoice is also now available here. By a yellow arrow, the golden arrow, you can directly go to the invoice. So the project leader can always see the invoice. He can also see if the invoice is paid or not. Finally, we have showed the flow. We are going to go to the budget. to have the total overview here. So we're now on our budget screen, on our running budget. You see here, I have a current budget, I have an actual, and I have a result. So this is how, let's say, a project is running. We even are able to add a budget version by selecting here. You could do it earlier, of course, but because automatically after the sales order a budget is created, we always have the possibility to select the budget, let's say at the start of a project. Just to show here, if we say select, we'll now see we have a budget version and a current budget. At the moment they're the same, but the moment we are changing hours or materials within the project, the current budget will change, the budget version will change, will stay the same. And you can make as many budget versions as you want. Now, last but not least, let's have a quick overview on the plan board. First, go to the single project plan board. Now in the single project plan board, a few things has been changed. You now see the red line, of course, of the supplier date. You see a yellow triangle. This yellow triangle, you have the order line, the purchase order and the goods received, and the white triangle tells us that there are still materials to be ordered. The black line in the activity and in the project, that's the progress on the project. So if you look here, it's the 16 hours, meaning 22% progress. We always have the possibility, if we do a right click, we can always go from here, from the project, into our purchase orders and our goods received. So there's a one-to-one relationship here. Now, this is the single project. We're going to finish this flow with the master planning and the total overview. If I click here, then we are back in the master data. But if I click here on the master planning, we will have here a total overview of the plan board with the multi-project view. If we go here, we'll also see our project Mallorca in here. So then we have all the projects together with the workload on the project. If I click on project Mallorca, you will see the workload on our project Mallorca. This was what we want to show you. Thank you very much.